Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to your AM here. Happy Wednesday, right? Happy Wednesday, the 16th. And it should hopefully be a good bounce back day here today. Yesterday, a little bit of a frustrating trading session, right? Kind of ending the winning streak there. But fresh slate, fresh day, fresh start here, and excited to see what kind of momentum, right, or enthusiasm is in store for us here today. And hopefully, right, we could take advantage of whatever is out there. Guys, I'm going to mention this once here today, right? I don't know how many times we have to say the same thing, right, in different words. But TradingView is making changes to the Pine script, right, and to the indicator. Something in the current code is not compatible with their new version. There's like 2,000 lines in that code, so it's going to take me a lot of time to find it and to figure it out. I will release the change as soon as I possibly can, but just screaming and yelling about it in the Discord and everyone sending me a message about it is not going to change anything. So we really just need to stop with that. It's driving me freaking insane. We have mentioned already that there is a change coming and something happening and all this kind of stuff. Please just bear with me for like 2 days while I just go through it and fix it and figure it out. If this is like the pain in the ass I have to deal with each time there's a change, I'm not going to make these things public because it's not worth the effort, right? Like it's too annoying. So already mentioned that there's the fix coming. It's going to take me a little bit of time to figure out which line of the 2,500 lines that are in there is the one that's causing the issue. Please, guys, just bear with me, right? All right. Besides that, okay, we've got a little bit of data here today, right? Fine, nothing too crazy. We're gonna have some Fed speak. We're gonna have crude oil inventories. We're gonna have all that kind of stuff here today. So looking forward, right, to seeing if that gives us a reasonable element of momentum here. But yeah, let's go. And yeah, let's hopefully have ourselves a strong trading day. So from a ES perspective, right, it's going to be a 2 out of 3 here to the downside with volume. Well, it's not even that I have to say it once. I have to say it 20 times. Driving me fucking insane. All right. So, I mean, look, theoretically, this should be trending price action here to the downside, right? But it just looks like a consolidation here still, right? We don't really have any formal breakouts. We don't have any formal breakdowns. So I think it's still probably reasonable to maintain a little bit of flexibility here in both directions. So we're looking probably 63.20, right, as our starting point there to the upside. To the downside here, I mean, it's a pretty big move. Implied volatility is about 1%. So pretty much at that now, maybe kind of setting up to behave in a very similar way as it did yesterday. You'd probably be looking at like a 300 rejection, right? And then a breakdown towards 260. So then, yeah, 62.50 here, right, is a downside move. So it looks okay, but again, right? Maybe formal consolidation until we get some sort of proven otherwise. Okay, what's the count on NQ? Yeah, right. It's kind of like a little bit of a bullshit candle, right? Because if we look at where the implied open is versus yesterday high and today's low, we're kind of in like the middle of that range, right? So it's technically a 3 for 3 here to the upside, or a weak 3 for 3 here to the upside. But all it's telling me, right, is that we're in kind of sticky, crappy consolidation based price action. And we'd like to see some sort of clear resolution here prior to being hyper aggressive. In 23.2, I mean, I don't think I need to change anything too much from that level. Probably looking, yeah, like 23.200, right? 23.300 as our starting point here for targets to the upside. To the downside, again, I think it can have basically the same narrative here as ES. We're looking for a resolution here, but base expectation is consolidation until proven otherwise. And then, yeah, we're looking for a bearish failure around 23,000, right? And then we're looking 22.9 and then beyond. Okay, CL. So red candle, decreasing volume gap down. 2 out of 3 there to the downside without volume. And we're looking for a move down towards like 64, right? That's ultimately going to be our target here. We're at 65.60 pre-markets. We'll call that 65.50, which just means that our next target there is going to be 65, 64.40, 64. I guess probably like limiting factor here is going to be our prop firm limit. So that's going to be approximately a 5% move. So our probably max cap that we can go to today on NQ, or sorry, on CL is going to be 63.50. And that prop firm limit, right, it's going to be maybe a little bit different firm to firm. Some places will do it a little bit higher than others, but generally, as a starting point, it's down 5%. It seems like most companies will kind of do that same number. So that would be the starting point there, right? 5% down. And that's approximately what that 63.50 is. To the upside here, we'd be looking basically for a mean reversion dip buy off of 64. And then we're looking for a move back up to like 67. And we're going to say, yeah. And we'll say over, we're at 65, 61. So maybe like 66 fake out, right? Something like that. Cool. All right. Apple. So 2 out of 3 downside with volume. Tesla, 1 for 3. Microsoft, 2 out of 3 with volume. Not an outlier volume, but it's still increasing. Amazon, decreasing volume. So it's a 1 for 3. Nvidia, 2 out of 3 there to the downside with volume. AMD, same thing, 2 out of 3 to the upside with volume. Meta, 2 out of 3 there to the downside with volume, kind of bouncing between 2 out of 3 versus another 2 out of 3. Netflix, kind of a higher high, higher low, red candle, increasing volume, gap up. This is kind of telling me a lot of different bullshit stories. So it's like it's a 2 out of 3 with volume with bullish trending characteristics. And then Google, red candle, increasing volume, gap up. So again, 2 out of 3 there to the downside with volume. A lot of the with volumes here today, guys, right, are not particularly impressive. They're limited volume profiles. They're increasing, but not by a ton. So let's see, right, where a level of enthusiasm shows up here today, and if we can get something consistent to basically pop into business. How's everyone feeling this morning? good volume-ish to start the session, right? Like it's good. Oh, someone was asking about sessions, right? How do you do different sessions? Really basic. You click the cog here at the bottom, you click session, and then you go regular trading hours. Electronic trading hours will show you pre-market. Regular is what I use and what the first candle of the day is based off of. Kind of a bit of a slow start. Maybe we have a chance here on CL. It loves an early breakout and then kind of to fuck around a little bit. I do want to be a little bit cautious here, but this is worth watching. Okay, so CL here. Have to look like that. Price target's only like 20 cents away. That's maybe a little bit challenging. I also am should have mentioned this here. Crude oil inventories day here. I'm not sure if this is necessarily something that I want to trade before 10:30. So okay, I mean that's the easy talk out right there. I generally don't trade CL. Then so I'm gonna wait it out. What's the issue, Logan? kind of a little bit of deja vu to yesterday, right? Kind of feels like a very slow, boring, patient open. I'm gonna wait. I got very little reasons to be aggressive here yet. So it's got a lot of work to do to go increasing outlier here from a volume perspective. Let's see if it's got the juice. I'm not super confident it will. Who knows? Did technically go increasing. Kind of a bit surprised by that. Huh. Like I'm zooming in like crazy here so that we can see the gap between outlier and not outlier. I mean, the thing here, right? The point of that process is it's supposed to be a binary, especially this early in the morning. If we're only 12 minutes into the session and we're having to zoom in this much to see yeah, the little baby gap there, it's probably not obvious enough, right? Or not strong enough. So I'm gonna be patient on this. Also, maybe getting a little bit of like deja vu to yesterday, right? And yesterday was similar where it had kind of like an early setup and then markets like drifted for 90 minutes before they actually ended up doing anything borderline interesting. So base assumption here, sorry, is chop and frustrating and twist your mental capital knife type price action here today until proven otherwise. So I think it's easy enough to sit this one out until that volume is obviously outlier. So again, right, we have not missed anything here on these breakdowns, right? It's back to entry price right after two kind of consecutive fake outs. Probably not a great feeling. The this thing that feels weird for me here so far is like the volume feels, I don't know, like suspiciously light or suspiciously unenthusiastic, maybe. Hard to feel like I have an edge yet. Yeah, and like this is such a slow open. And we got about a minute to go here. This maybe has a chance to go outlier. All I need, right, is if I get increasing volume here, it's going to satisfy my criteria. If I don't, I might have to go pull my hair out. Yeah, and it'll be very close here. You got to be kidding me. Just a little bit less, something like 15,000 contracts less. Maybe even less than that. Maybe like 300 contracts less. Okay, maybe NQ here setting up on this 3 min. Breakdown, flag, breakdown. This could be interesting. 20 seconds. Logan, what's your issue with Take Profit Trader? I never answered. Okay, so we know we're immediately looking for the aggressive entry technique. Stop loss for now. Let's see where it settles. Basically, it can't pull back higher than 89.75. So that's our invalidation point. And then 73.50 to 89, 16 points. So one contract. Stop loss, right? 89. I was call it 22,990 just to keep it simple. Okay, so looking for a retest here of the green line, guys, of the green line. Okay, I am in average price 976, short, stop loss 990. Come on, see if you got it. Mm-hmm. All right, well, I took the stop. That's frustrating. It's going to be a fake out for sure now. Yep. Oh. Do I try this again? Ah, that's so mean. That is so mean today. So nasty fake out and then break down. That's kind of ruthless. Try this again here on the 5-min, right? We have the same setup, except we're targeting further lower. So again, right, 968.25 would be the stop for now. Reference price here would be 962.50. And then again, we can't really see it pull back more than 987.50, ideally much less. Oh, that was so mean. Again, can't really pull back much more than this. That was honestly such a mean fake out. The main issue now with this, right, is it just has to be like a max risk trade now. Which after that fake out, I don't really want to deal with. I'd rather wait for a really tight entry here again, right? Like, believe it or not, the better thing to do when things are choppy is to actually go tighter risk and have more opportunities, right, to take advantage of a move instead of being all in or all out on one. Ugh. Lower low, lower high. What a life. What I guess I'm trying to find a feel for here is if the market is, behaving strong enough to expect like another leg down? Or are we starting to get like consolidation price action slash like exhaustion price action from bears that we could play maybe reversals, right? Or high conviction fake outs? For now, this doesn't feel like super high conviction price action. Kind of feels like I mean that first fake out bothered me a little bit, but now in hindsight, right? Like we're at 974, would have been up 2 points. Okay, like clearly the move wasn't fully ready. Could have made money on that, but didn't quite get exactly the combo I needed. And then this is literally just bouncing around 2280 or 980. So, like, question: is it flagging and breaking down, or is it finding support here and getting stuck? Right. That's pretty much what we're trying to figure out. Yeah, down 300 on the day. One trade here so far. Just trying to find the clean price action. Again, maybe it's feeling a little bit like it's lagging for a breakdown here, right? If it's going to be an inside bar on increasing volume, why couldn't bulls make a higher high? That's a little bit of a story. So again, I don't think we've invalidated this confirmation here yet. I just don't know if we've gotten an appropriate entry for a move or for that second leg, or have confidence that the second leg is actually going to fly. Those are the two battles. So you'd be looking at an 83.50 stop loss. I'll just call it 84. 984. So you're looking at 20 points of risk, right? So again, just another one contract play. And now I want to see a gentle pullback here. Into 62.50, but it might not do it now. Oh, maybe. All right. So watching here still. Yeah, dirty fake out. So the reason I can't click submit here yet, right, is I'm still outside of my max risk. So I have to wait for a deeper pullback or wait for a tighter risk reward, right? So I use the internal trade copier inside Top Step and then do everything else manually. Okay, watching here. Hey guys, I'm in 65.25, 65.25, one contract, stop loss at 83, actually 84. Yeah, I think the entry was okay, but that's a bad reaction post entry. So I'm trying to find a little bit of let's watch here instead for a sec. Oh, motherfucker. Stopped me out for minus 375. So that's 0 for 2 here to start on that thesis there to the downside. Now it's looking like a fake out. For a red to green. So you'd be looking at a stop loss 971 for a long. Start. Okay, watching here if we can pull back into 86-ish. And on this trade, right, I need to be green pretty much right away. I don't want to spend any time in drawdown here. If my thesis is correct, it should be correct pretty quick. If it's not, no hopium. Okay, guys, I'm in 86.50, 86.50, one contract, stop loss at 971. It's an NQ long. Okay, not bad here. Now we want to see a pretty significant amount of separation away from this 23,000, right? So we're looking for this candle to close. I mean, it's got 2 minutes to go, but we'd like to see it close above 23K. Working man's day. Don't like that. My gut is telling me that it was a rejection there at 300, at 23,000, sorry. That's what my gut is telling me, guys. I'm kind of inclined to listen to it. Get a little, pull back to my entry price. Nope. Come on. Hey guys, I am out, guys. I am out. 976 exit price. 976 exit price. I am out. God damn it. The chop, 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 chop. Yeah, and I do think it was the right decision to close where we did. Again, that would have stopped us out, so saved me, you know, $200 or something. Motherfucker. Frustrating start. Down 800. Yeah, I think I probably could have closed that one just a little bit earlier. I should have closed it at like 83 or 84. Freaking opium. She's a dangerous drug. Honestly, this might be more of a buyer stop loss market. Yeah, weird start. Our original entry, right, was like 976 on that first trade. We've like not seen any separation since then, right? This has been stuck at this level in like the most annoying way possible. This could be setting up. Ugh. $86 to 79. That's really, really tempting. Okay, guys, I have taken a stab here in at 985, stop loss 979, and I have 4 contracts here. I'm up immediately 500 bucks. Kind of tempted to take it and run. Let's see if you can give me a little pop here. 985 on the dot is my entry. And it's only 4 contracts, right? Because the risk is so tight. Right? Not because of greed or not because I'm red. It's because the risk is tight and I can justify that sizing, right? Okay, we got to watch this thing carefully because I'm going to think about getting out here if it pulls back much more. Come on. It's made a 1R move, right? It made a 1R move pretty much instantly at entry. So need to make sure that I'm closing here as P&L is increasing. This is good. Good but bouncy. Not perfect. 2 out of 3 though on that candle. It has to be the moment where it runs. Has to be. Falls a little bit there at that 990. Come on, push, baby. Okay, there we go. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Fantastic. All right, now this thing is starting to push, guys. Now this thing is starting to push. Let's go. Now we want to make sure it holds 23,000, right? Want to make sure it holds 23,000. That's where we've seen price action fail. Oh, let's make sure it holds it, right? Let's make sure it holds it. A little bit tempted to close here. Come on, give me one more decent pop. Okay, there it goes. Come on. There goes that man. There we go. Oh, sorry for being a stressful bitch today, guys. All right. Okay, watching here. I think I'm going to look to get out in a second. It's maybe stalling just a little bit. Didn't quite close above 23,000, which I think is an issue. So looking to get out here now as P&L is increasing, guys, as P&L is increasing. So let's see if we can get a move just above over 23K, and this is going to be my exit here in a second. Come on, you got some more legs here. Come on. Push, 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 push. Okay, watch. This is going to be it, guys. This is going to be it. So close. I just want to see a little pop above that 2310. Oh, come on. Struggling to get there. Well, that was a disaster pullback. Come on. Hey guys, I am out. I am out of this trade. I am all out. 991. You're back at it here. You're back at it here. Well, actually, correction on my fill, out at 992. All right, but that did some good numbers, guys. That did some good numbers. So now sitting on like 130 down here on the day. Let's see if this thing can correct itself a little bit. But I thought we had a bit more life left in that move. It didn't quite behave the way that I expected there at that last little pullback, which is frustrating because I was nice to the green here on this position. I just didn't take the win. I was looking for an extra 3-4 points, which I didn't quite get. That's a little bit annoying. Again, this thing might continue to play around for us here and give us a setup, but we want to see that 23,000 act as support. It not being able to do so does make it a little bit challenging. Yeah, stop was 979. 979. So didn't touch there on that pullback, but this candle, right, was my reason to exit this 1021, right? Didn't hold higher highs, weak candle shape, increasing volume. So only gave me 1 out of 3 conditions. So I was looking for an exit around this 2310, but I didn't get it. So then it pulls back, retests my entry price, and then I just need to close right basically on that next uptick above. Because if it's going to make that move and retest my entry, not a good sign, right? So like I would say that it's like a step above a panicked close on that one. And again, if we get another stab at this, like we could potentially play this right as like a compression breakout again, whatever it might be. But not a mega trade here by any means. So can it hold 23? That's what we care about, right? Again, it's going to hit my number that I wanted, which is painful. But following your rules doesn't have to be easy. You just got to do it. You got to suck it up and do it sometimes. Let's go, Patrick. And closing at 2305 does not sound like a panicked close. So well done, dude. All right, so we're back up above. We could still maybe use our original signal here as a confirmation. But we're basically just looking for like an inside bar breakout, right? Okay, good reaction. So we want to use previous highs. 23,000 would be our stop here. Well, so we can get a little pullback. Oh, I can't believe we got shaken out of that. This would have been a monster. Fuck. Mean. Theme of the day here. Markets are mean. Okay, maybe we have a chance here. So watching closely here, team. Watching closely. Just didn't quite give me the extra tick and a half. Oh. Weird. I don't necessarily feel like I trade poorly here. I've traded poorly here so far today. I actually think it's been okay. But I don't know, I feel I felt a little bit stressed out to start the session. Been interesting. Okay for a close. So again, I might be able to use that as my confirmation. Is this. And then you're using this as your reference price, right? So it's about 16 points of risk, right? So it'd be a one contract play, or alternatively, we're looking for a pullback technique here. If I could get this, right, that would be better. Again, 23,000 would be the stop. Inventories data has come out for crude. Yeah, a little bit like a self-inflicted wound, right, for not taking the big win when it was there. No, we're still in business here. We're still in play. I wouldn't say I'm like tilted or anything like that. Again, it's not too often that the market makes me feel like I have to work for a living. We've been kind of getting a bit more of that type of sensation here this summer so far. Okay, let's see here. This might be our chance. Be patient. It's moving just a little bit too fast. Let's see if it can find support better. Okay, guys, I am in 2306.50, 2306.50, stop loss 23,000, 3 contracts. Oh, instantly stopped out. Jesus Christ. Bake and shake. That is really annoying again. So again, this is setting up as a possible fake out thesis. Gosh darn it. Yeah, and this kind of feels like it might be setting up to do something like this, right? 993 stop. Tempted by that. I really am. Oh, that's so fucking mean. Yeah, 670.19 here on the day. On what has been fake out city here. Well, 1 for 4 down 670. Like, it's not a bad place to be. but not easy here. Very much still one trade away. Need to find that one really good trade. Everything wants to shake and fake here a little bit, and that makes it very, very challenging to trust. Okay, so watching here, guys, I am watching here. This would be, I'd be looking for like the fake out lower under 993 and then a move back above it as my entry technique. Although it doesn't seem like it wants to do that. It should be a 993. So right now it'd be 13 points of risk, 12 points of risk. Okay, now we're in business. Jared, obviously, I appreciate you sharing that message, man. And I'm sorry that you blew your account. Obviously, never a great feeling. But the only way you stop improving or getting better as a trader is when you commit to not ever getting better, right? So just trading for the sake of trading and not using this program to get the coaching and the support and to do the one-on-one calls, like that's the point, to be able to get you out of those funks, right? And to teach you the skills that you need to be consistent. If you're not going to use the program and you're not going to try to get help, then you're not putting in a serious effort, right, to actually improve and to create that change for yourself, right? So obviously I'm sorry that it happened, and losing accounts is not fun. But this is your like fork in the road, right? Are you going to choose to fix the problems that keep forcing you or keep blowing accounts for you? Or are you going to take accountability over those problems and commit to fixing them? That's the choice you have to make. Everyone has the ability and the skill to be a trader. Not everyone has the self belief to actually do the work that gets them to profitability. So sometimes we need to work on that side of things more than we need to work on the technical side of things. And when we make our belief match, then we have to make our actions match our words so that we're actually getting the improvement and getting better as traders. But the only way that you lose at this game is if you give up and you choose to not actively work on your dreams. The only way you lose. So sometimes we have to ask ourselves, are my actions matching my desires, my dreams, what I want out of life? And just hoping that we're going to get lucky is not the answer, man. And I don't mean to come off as a dick. It's not my intention here. Like, I'm kind of just a bit of a believer in tough love. Because everything is hard, right? Everything is difficult. Choosing to give up is difficult. Choosing to fix your problems is difficult. Choosing to work your 9 to 5 for the next 30 years is difficult. So choose your hard, right? And go all in on it. Make your actions match your words. Look, book a call, right? Submit your trades for feedback. Get feedback on a daily basis if you want to improve. But you haven't sent me any trades since May 22nd. So you've spent a month and a half, right? Not being deliberate and forcing yourself to get better. Yeah, 23 is very sticky here today. Very, very sticky. And a little fake out. Still be in play here. I do feel dumb for not closing at that 23.10. Would have been done by now. So, Jared, I'm just gonna be honest, man. Like, it's a bullshit limiting belief, right? I scalp, so it's hard to journal those or remember if I say I took 10 trades. If you can't remember the trades that you took, how do you expect to learn from them, right? How do you expect to notice your patterns if you can't remember why or when or how you did something? That's just throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks. You get better by being deliberate, right? Not by being a passenger. Yeah, it does. It does track your entries and your exits, Mike. So you could go in, fill it in, right? Do whatever. The other thing is you keep a little notebook. Okay, entry 2308, right? Thesis this, thesis that. But a good trader journals while they trade. So don't give yourself excuses. Anyone can find that information, right? Anyone can be deliberate enough to do that. Most people just choose not to, and then they give themselves some big scary reason as why they shouldn't. But the idea over why they shouldn't is scarier than actually doing it. And yeah, like if we're not controlling the variables we can't control and we're not serious about getting better as traders, right, with our actions, not with our words, then what are we doing, right? This game is too competitive to just wing it and hope we get lucky. It's too competitive. Again, we're maybe back in business here. So we'd be looking at 23.12 stop loss, maybe reference price there, 23.17. So what's the difference between 17 and 11? What's the difference? How many points? Right? And how much is NQ worth a contract? $20. So what's 20 times 6? Is that more or less than 500? So how many more times could I increase my position sizing to be within 500? Yeah. So guys, right, we need to be doing those own risk calculations ourselves here, understand the size that we're taking, and make that decision ourselves, because each of us has a different max loss number and a different number that impacts us. So if we're not trying to solve for that number, and instead we're trying to solve for my psychology, you're doing yourself a disservice. And after all that, missed my entry. And still watching here. Hey guys, I'm in at 23.17 on the dot. 23.17 on the dot. Stop loss 23.11, 4 contracts. Come on, give me a bit more here. Get over 30. Let me write out my trade here. Sorry. Fuck off. Okay, sorry. I was trying to copy paste something and it made my computer completely freak out. All right. So let's see if this thing can keep pushing here. Got to keep pushing. Needs to hold above 30. Bullshit reaction to 30. Come on. And I don't like the way this price action is stalling. Doing that so annoyingly here today. Yeah, and it kind of looks like a fake out, right? All right. I'll look for an exit, I think. Okay, see if we can get one as P&L's increasing. Come on. Hey, push, 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 push. Watch for this 30. Watch for this 30 and a big pop over. That's going to be our exit. Come on, 30. Go, go, go. Okay, guys, I am out. I am out. What the fuck happened there? Exit price. Wow, I got really lucky, guys. 25. Exit price at 25. I don't think we could have timed that any better. Holy shit. Perfect. Perfect, right? Woo. We nailed that assessment absolutely perfectly, team. Absolutely perfectly. That was fucking wild. Holy Jesus. That's got to be a tariff tweet, surely, right? That made me feel like I was trading small caps and I closed just before an offering. Holy fuck. That was wild. Oh, fuck. Instant algo flush. I mean, this might be the bear trap now. What a move. How's my Palantir stock looking? Still want to get above 150. Jesus Christ. Dodged a bullet there, guys. I feel like Neo. That was wild. Oh. Man, that trade just aged me 15 years. That was a crazy move. Yeah, I mean, we did a good job exiting where we did, guys, right? We saw it stalling. We saw it reject. But yeah, that was some complete and total fuckery. Insane. Time here, it's 11. I mean, volatility just woke up. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's nice to be a little bit green here. So Brady, right, the move here as we were getting in was to close on that touch of 30, right? So on that move up above over 30, once you see that price over 23.30, you have to be ready to exit, right? That's what we were talking about there. We were looking for that pop over 30 to get out. We got it. That move failed, and then it failed aggressively. So once we're saying we're looking for our exit price, you have to be ready, finger on the trigger, right, to click to get out. Sometimes waiting for me to say that I'm out of a trade is going to be too long, and it's going to give away a lot of your gains, right? So in that situation, all I was trying to do was to get out as close to 30 as possible. And once we're saying, hey, we're looking for that exit at 30, right? We're looking for that pop. You have to be ready to execute that trade. Right? Because we're not getting out because we think that the move is going to keep going. We're getting out because we think we're worried that the idea is no longer correct and we're trying to maximize P&L. So the value there, right, isn't about then squeezing to close at 33.75. It's to get out the second the move isn't behaving the way that we expect so that we can lock in that win. And yes, obviously this was a very extreme example of that, and it shows kind of the pros and cons. Right? So if you're going to wait for me to say that I'm in a trade or after a trade, right? Or out of a trade, this can happen, right? Where you get those crazy moves, you get some crazy volatility and something wild happens. Yeah, Nautilus, I've talked about this a bunch here so far this week. There's a lot of discussion about this already in the Discord, but TradingView is making some updates, and there's something in the code that isn't working well for people. So I need to go through and figure out what that broken line is from the 2,000 lines of code that the indicator is. And it's just going to take me a little bit of time to be able to fix that. So please bear with me and just be patient there. I've had to respond to this question 2,500 times here today, and it's the same response, and the response has been publicly issued to everyone multiple times. So please, check your email, check your Discord messages in the DTR indicator tab. It's all there. So please just help me protect my sanity for not having to repeat myself a million times. Absolutely insane moves. Be 34 as a stop loss for that on the 15 or on the 10. The 10, I don't think I can talk myself into this being a short because it couldn't hold under 88.50. If it would have done that, I think it's a little bit of an easier argument to make. This has been a wild $300 day. See, I'd be interested in a short here, if anything. Oh. Yeah, it was a great exit, right? We literally top ticked it. It could not have gone any closer to disaster. So you gotta be good to be lucky and lucky to be good, right? On one of those scenarios. And so now we'd be looking for the fake out and basically doing this. Reference price 1450. Stop loss of like 919. It's called 920 stop loss. Be patient. Just be patient. We want to make sure that this fake out is actually in store. Oh, doesn't quite maybe feel like it is now. Right, because it was a good fake out as it was pulling into 23,000 and like rejecting there. Now that 23,000 is acting as support, that's a little bit less appealing. So I think I got one more in me here. And the other elements, we could play the pullback technique here, stop loss at 34, but this candle's just a little bit of a compromise. Okay. So back to looking at that fake out thesis. Stop loss have to be 29, it's called 30. Again, little volume divergence reversal scenario here. And we're just looking for a sell right in the area where we've seen that big algo order basically step in and defend. Right, that's who's controlling price action. So we want to be jumping in where they defended their entry. Yeah, today's put some hair on my chest. Oh my gosh. Eight oh seven. I could probably do less than that. 928 is a stop. More precise. 23028. And again, right, if your objective is to also take this trade, be very prepared to be aggressive in managing this, right? And when I say aggressive in managing this, I mean being quick to take profit, being quick to close. Hey guys, I'm in 2318. 2318. Not a good entry. It may be better. 2318. 2318. Short. Stop loss 2328. Just watching this just for a second. I will write it out in just a moment. Okay. Okay, see if it can break. Okay, see if it can crack here. See if it can crack. Stalling just a little bit more than I would like. We need to see it start to break down here pretty aggressively, pretty quickly. Yeah, I don't like that. All right, it took the stop. And this is setting up for fake out again. Have to be 31. I don't know if I want to keep chasing that. Oh, minus 400. That puts me minus 137 on the day. Kind of a bullshit fake out. Again, that wasn't green right away. Probably should have cut this just a little bit earlier. Again, I do think that that fake out is still in play. I just might struggle with the timing here just a little bit. Okay, there's another possible fake. So 36 would have to be the stop loss, called 37. Okay, guys, I'm in 3075, 3075. Contract, stop loss 37. Got a break. Stopped out. All right. Took the stop. Now 400 on the day. Oh, I'm just starting to bleed out a little bit. Still some time. Yeah, minus 435.22. 435.22 on the day down. And then it's starting to feel like it's going to just be a green to red. Tried that fake out twice, 3 times. And it's not been behaving. Invalidated or broke out above. And I find a win here to end the day. That's what I'm kind of going for. Okay, so it'd be a 33 stop loss for now. I've kind of just been fighting one trade up, one trade down, one trade up, one trade down. Fighting to break even here a little bit. Okay, there's another fuck you dump. Like, how do we miss that on the fake out twice? Crazy. Absolutely crazy. We get shaken out of all these moves here. Absolutely insane. So if he's going to be firing Powell, that's going to be very, very bearish. It's going to be a big dump here, guys. Let's be patient. All right, all the time frames are syncing up. Yeah, I might have to be super aggressive here. Be able to pull this off. So 991 stop loss, guys. 992. Okay, watch the fake out and then entry on the fake out, right? Hey guys, I am in. Can't see my price. Fuck. Guys, I have no visibility over my order, so I am out. I'm going to try this again. I had no visibility on my order. I couldn't see my position. I could see ticks changing, but I couldn't see my position. That was funky. And that fake out actually worked. Let's see. Crazy. That made me like $600. Crazy. Okay, so again, we're still in play here, but I need to be resetting 940, 948 stop loss maybe here. Again, watch for the fake out. Holy fuck, busy, busy, busy. Okay, guys, I am back in 934, 934. Two contracts, stop loss 949. Go. Correction, guys. I have 3 contracts here. I have 3 contracts. That was an execution issue. I didn't mean to do 3. I'm getting lucky with that. I'm getting lucky. Okay, I am out, guys. I am out. I'm taking that as like a lucky accident. But my close price 904. Close price 904. Holy fuck, we had to work today. Oh, how's everyone feeling? Everyone alive? Let's go. But yeah, hopefully everyone's up nicely green here. We had to work for it today, but overtime was worth it, I think. Let's go, Mike. Congratulations. Yeah, so my final tally, Mike, is actually really similar. I'm at 1259.87. 1259.87. Here's the thing. I still feel like there's some volatility in store for us. Good job, guys. Good. That's really good. Getting similar entries, similar exits, and good position sizing. Really like that. Right, that means that like net, there's maybe 3 or 4 points difference, right, across the board versus how we traded here today. That is primo good and an excellent exit, guys. Excellent exit. Now we're possibly looking for that like fuck you aggressive reversal. We're looking for price action to be as aggressive as my language. Not enough volume on that. Yeah, this has been a wild day. Man, I'm gonna need another I'm gonna need another run today. Price actions are making me chest feel tight. Couple things here that are important to note, right? We talked about this a little bit to start the session off, but how when things are choppy and things are bouncy, you actually want to be going tight stop losses, not wider stop losses, because tight stop losses protect your mental capital and keep you in the game, right? So we took quite a lot of hits here today, but they were all small, right? They were small, speculative, and that's in quotation marks, right? But they were small losses where we're buying discounts and we're giving ourselves 2 or 3 chances, right, to be able to catch a move. We lost, $500 to catch that big breakdown, right? So okay, it maybe didn't feel like the nicest way to be able to trade that, but it allowed us to keep our mental capital and our thesis intact so that we could execute it if the move happened. So it's kind of one of those theses. It's better to see if you're green right away or red right away, and then look to jump in if it starts to behave the way that you expect. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that here today, albeit in what has been a very, very interesting session, very chaotic session. Oh, golly. Hopefully everyone's feeling good. All right, who's still with me here? Just grab the cup of coffee. Everyone green here, right? That's still here. Everyone green. Let's see if we can do some diagnosis here. Yeah. Hey, no worries, Craig. You've done a good job avoiding the chaos. What made you miss the other trades? So don't think of them as bad and good. That's probably not fair. What was the difference between the trades that you missed and the trades that you got? What was the difference in your execution? What was yesterday's damage? 1875. Let's go, Mark. Interesting. I didn't have any issues with Tradeify, Eric. I'm a little bit be curious to know what happened there. That's interesting. Look, your objective, right, should be once I draw my reference price, all I'm trying to do, guys, is get a discount relative to the reference price, right? To that blue line. John, we can talk about that tomorrow. Send me some screenshots of your trades. I'm sorry, Brady. The one thing, right, Brady? I want to see you next time we're getting ready to take profit. I want you to be ready to close that trade when it's appropriate, right? I think you missing that take profit then kind of creates that spiral, if that makes sense. So just really getting sharp there, I think will make a big difference. We could be looking at another fake out thesis here to the upside. Simone, so I don't really use trade copiers. I use the internal one in Top Step X. That one works fine. But then my other ones, I just have separate windows open to execute. Personally, the only reason I do that is I just wouldn't trust my personal capital with these trade copiers. It makes me too nervous that something's going to break or something's not going to work. And all of a sudden, like the family fund I have for my dad and my sisters is going to get evaporated. And all of a sudden, I have to explain how they're going to pay their mortgage with the money that no longer exists. So from just like a risk perspective, it doesn't quite work for me. So that's why I don't do it. It's already a big enough pain in the ass managing a family account for them. If now I lost that money and had to explain that, man, Christmas dinner would be a freaking disaster. So mostly don't do them out of pure fear of family retribution. And Christmas dinner is already stressful enough. There's a part of me thinking that I should just take this and run. We maybe have the opportunity here on this 10-min pullback technique. Right, this maybe is interesting. Although I kind of expect this thing to make a fake out low first and then bounce. Because that's basically how we've seen price action move for the entirety of today. Now, an entry off of that trend line would have been pretty much perfect, but too fast of a pullback regardless. Stop loss here would be 897.50 for now. I want to stress though, guys, right? I'm being pretty patient with this entry here. I'm not going to be in a huge rush. Okay, so again, pulling back in towards that sort of trend line area. Good bounces off that trend line. So this now would be my effective reference price, 906.50. So I'm looking for the reaction at that area. That was too fast. See, give it a sec. Better. And now that's that fake out. So let's see if this thing wants to pull back in. That's that sort of pseudo thesis we talked about. Wow. I don't know he was allowed to do that. That's going to be very, very interesting. Okay, we're back to looking for sells, guys. We're back to looking for sells. This volatility is nuts. Okay, so we're looking at this 5 min here, targeting 800. And we want our reference price to be 887. Oh, might not happen, motherfucker. Okay. Reset here on the 3 min. You're looking at an 877 stop loss. $877. See if we can get a gentle pullback here, team. See if we can get a gentle pullback. Just missed it again. Kind of looking for there. Jesus Christ. All right, let's keep watching. Keep watching. This is a wild morning, guys. Absolutely wild. And we have a possible 10 min setup here. 10 min might be a little bit more challenging. Well, let's see how this thing closes. We get a strong close, like 840 something. Maybe we're in play. Hey guys, I'm in short 872. Stop loss 877. I'm also now out at 871.75. That was honestly a pointless 60 bucks. Okay, let's try this again. I think that this might want to give a little fake out and then go. That's why I kind of panicked closed. My first instinct once I entered that trade is this is going to fake out. Okay, was the right instinct. Okay. Yeah, that was a really good read. Now again, right, we're possibly setting up for that little fake out, little 900 fake out, I think is really interesting. So that's better. And then using 87.75 kind of here as reference price, stop loss would be 900. 22.9. Okay, let's see again if it fakes out again. Now we're looking at 906.25. That's seeming less and less likely. Quite the bullish engulfing candle here. $909.25 would now have to be the price. Hey guys, I am in short 902.50, 902.50, and stopped out instantly. All right, well, that was interesting. All right, I lost 285 on that. That's fine. Crazy, crazy, crazy moves here. Back to using that trend line as support. It's a good bounce back day here, but man, did we have to push all of our boundaries today. Okay, again, still possibly looking. It'd be something like this. Reference price here would be about here. So 35 or something, about 10 points. Well, I got a real bad fill. But I am in, guys. I am in at 35.25, 35.25 long. Stop loss rate is 24. There we go. This thing's pushing. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Okay, next decent pop. I'm going to look to get out. It's not the decent pop I was looking for. Okay, give me a move here. Go, go, go. Okay, well, I'm out, guys. I am out right at entry price. Right at entry price. Oh, actually still have one contract. Okay, now I'm out. Now I am out. Sorry about that confusion. TradingView was giving me some weird issues here today. I'm having some weird order visibility. That's twice now that it's happened to me where I've had, I can't tell if I'm in a position or not. So that's weird. Just a little bit under 1,300 bucks here now. Pretty much just made back that previous loss. So I'm like 1297 and some change. Such a weird morning. The call it like general tech issues that I would say we're experiencing here with TradingView is making me just a little bit nervous. Oh, why does it do this? It's so fucking making me just a little bit nervous. But guys, I think I do a pretty good job telling you when I'm looking for an exit, right? Or when my exit price is going to be. We got to be using that information, right? To be able to get out of positions. Like, especially on this example where we closed at like 30, right? Where we're looking for that breakout over 30. We talked about that exit 2 or 3 minutes before it ever happened, what the plan was, what we wanted to do, what our objective was. we got to make sure we're keeping track of those details because we can't allow those nice wins to turn into losses. Can't let that happen. So a lot of stuff here operationally, right, from the team that is a little bit disappointing here today. We've skipped or we've missed a lot of important details, and that's made things much worse from a P&L perspective than they need to be. If you don't know what the plan is for the exit, ask, get that question answered, but don't hold or bag hold something because you don't know what you're supposed to do. That is completely unacceptable. Right? That's the only way you build extra anxiety in your trading, right? So if you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, ask. But we should not be red here today. We really should not be. How's your trading going, Rusty? Let's go, Jared. But Jared, just my advice here, man, be gentle on yourself with your self-talk, right? You know how to trade. You know how to make money. You just don't take protecting your capital seriously enough. And that's the thing that you need to focus on, right? That's the thing that you need to fix. Stop with this bullshit self-talk of, I'm not good enough. Oh, fuck that, right? It's got nothing to do with that. Market doesn't care who you are, where you went to school, what you look like, right? How much money you have in your bank account. All it cares about is your ability to learn from your mistakes and to improve. Right? So stop with that self-loathing bullshit. It gets no one nowhere. And you either want to be a trader and you're serious about fixing your stuff, or you don't want to do that work and you want to be stuck in your 9 to 5 forever. Like that's the choice you have to make, right? And one choice leads to one set of actions, one choice leads to another set of actions. But it's not a skill issue, right? No one's trading is a skill issue. People struggle with trading because they struggle with losing and they struggle with accepting when things don't exactly go to plan. So we have to learn how to be good losers and be the best losers we can possibly be before we can actually learn how to make money in the market. Most people try to put all their energy into making as much as they can, hoping that they can out earn their risk management, but it just doesn't work that way. See, I don't think it's a strategy issue, Ian. I think it's a self-belief issue. Because if you believed that cutting your losers early and managing your losses and not making it personal and that journaling and studying from your trades would actually make you better, then you would do that no problem, right? And trust that if I do that for long enough, then the P&L will take care of itself. So I don't think that it's a strategy issue. I think it's a self-belief and trusting yourself issue. Because the work itself isn't difficult, right? I think it's scary to start because it seems overwhelming, but that's just our brain trying to trick us into remaining stuck and not improving. Like our brains by default don't want to do what's best for us. They want to do what's easiest. So we make up all these excuses in our heads. We give ourselves all these reasons over why we can't do something. We give ourselves all this like negative and nasty self-talk because it justifies in our head the feelings that our brain is creating for us. But those feelings are fundamentally a lie, or they're not fundamentally there to make you improve. They're there to make you feel quote unquote safe from like a primal human being nature. But that gut feeling doesn't actually serve us humans any value anymore, because we don't have saber-toothed tigers hunting us as we go get our groceries, right? So we need to learn how to use that feeling as a trigger to create the work and the basically validation that we feel like we're missing once we get that sensation. So like a big part of trading, like, yes, it's about making money, and yes, it's about having a good strategy, and yes, it's about doing all these wonderful, beautiful things. But trading is literally just a game where you have to figure out what you're shit at and then use trading to fix it. It is self-improvement gamified. And the more that we can embrace that gamified nature of getting better, then the more our P&L actually give us the validation that we were looking for before we started on that self-improvement journey. That's why I really struggle with like this woe is me mentality when it comes to trading, because no one is forcing us to ever place a trade. No one is forcing us to ever close a trade. No one is ever forcing us to hold on to something there longer. Those are all a result, right, of our own anxieties or our own stresses or our own basically things that make us uncomfortable. And it's our reactions to those sensations that we see get played out in our P&L. So the more that we can be accountable to ourselves over fixing those things, the better things go. I'm a big believer in trading that you want to be the one who knocks, right? Like Breaking Bad. I want to be the one who knocks. Like, you don't want to be passive. You want to just hope that things are going to get better. You have to go make that change for yourself, and you have to be deliberate in your execution of it. Kind of like drifting through the market and hoping things are going to get better. It's like a surefire way to lose. And I believe that, guys, with absolute confidence, right? None of us here, no one who's watching the stream right now, no one who has ever placed a trade before is not clever enough to make money, right? Like, everyone is smart enough. Everyone has the ability to be able to do it. But the work in trading isn't the trading. It's literally everything else. So if we're not putting in those hours, we're not putting in that effort, we're not trying to get better in that context, then it doesn't matter how smart we are, or it doesn't matter how naturally gifted we are, or whatever. Our P&L always catches up to our skill set. It doesn't catch up. Like, we don't just get really rich and then all of a sudden become really good traders. You become a really good trader. You learn how to fix your techniques and your problems and how to learn from your mistakes, and then you get rich. But too many people are trying to skip that step and think, hey, I can just join the stream and I can go and I can do it. But the reality is, I don't know why this fucking keeps happening. This is driving me insane today. But the reality, right, is your anxieties, you can say that you're going to take every single trade that I'm going to take, and you're going to exit at the exact same price that I exit at, stop loss, take profit, whatever it is. But your anxieties are going to get in the way, and then you're going to panic close, or you're going to ignore your stop loss, or you're going to average down, and you're not going to actually execute the same strategy, right, that I'm actually executing. So that's why the work has to be internal. I've said this before, and I'll say this again, but trading is one of those games where we're all in this together by ourselves, right? We can all trade the exact same setup, the exact same trigger, the exact same bit of price action, and all of us will react to it differently. That's why I always stress, right? Figure out what your max loss number is and how much you're comfortable risking before you enter the trade. because that number is going to impact you differently than it's going to impact me. So if we're not going to be accountable to ourselves and we're not going to start each trade from the foundation of I'm going to protect myself from myself, then all we're going to do is compound mistakes later on in our decisions. And then we're going to, make things a lot more difficult than they need to be. So trading always fundamentally starts, right, with us having really honest and uncomfortable conversations with ourselves. So if I can't be honest to myself and say, okay, I'm shitty at my entries, or man, I'm not good with my position sizing right now, or man, I suck at losing. If I can't have that conversation and then sit down and create an action plan on how I can fix that, then clearly that mistake doesn't bother me enough and I don't care. Right? That's what that tells me. But if I can look at it and I can say, okay, man, like I suck at my entries right now. Let me find a way to gamify my entries. Let me reach out to Michael. Hey, Michael, how can I improve my entries? Well, now I've got something specific that I'm working towards. I'm being accountable for getting better as a trader, and I'm getting feedback that's actually going to make me more money. But it all starts with that self-reflection, right? I say this to every single person who I speak to for the first time, right? I tell them that the way that this program works, and if you want to be truly successful here and you want to get better, then the way to do that is you give me more feedback. The more feedback you give me, the more feedback I can give you, because I can see where you're going wrong in your trading and give you action plans on how you can fix that. The people that consistently struggle, right, is they get that invitation, they put it aside, right, and then they never submit a single trade, or they never ask a question, or they never book a one-on-one call. They just hope that, hey, Michael makes money trading, so if I just show up and I trade, I'm going to make money too. Well, sometimes. But the second that things get volatile, like we had here today, or like we had yesterday, was our first red day in a month and a half. So like if we can't manage those days, then it's going to be 3 steps forward, 4 steps back, right? Which happened to a lot of people there yesterday. We have to ask ourselves, right? Am I here to make money, or am I here to get better? Making money is a symptom, right? It's not an end goal. So like if I get better, I make money, right? Getting better is a first order consequence, right, of becoming more profitable. Otherwise, I'm like subconsciously telling myself I basically need to get lucky to be profitable. And if I now have to rely on luck to like go on a crazy run of form and like go all in on 10 trades in a row and all of them give me 100% return, like if that's what I need to actually feel successful as a trader, I'm not a trader. I'm not a speculator. I'm at the craps table, right? I'm playing roulette. I'm hitting on 17. I'm not doing anything there that actually has any expected positive value. Look, when I worked institutionally, or let me start this a little bit differently. When I transitioned from working as a retail trader, or from working as an institutional trader to a retail trader, I had that same mindset, right? Where it's like, okay, I'm just going to keep trading the way I always have because it's been kind of working and I think I can get away with it. And you know what? For like 6 months, man, I was freaking crushing it. I was making a ton of money. I was hanging out with my friends every weekend. I was partying a lot. I was super busy. I was doing everything besides studying my trading, right? absolutely everything. And then after maybe like 6 months, I was up 50 or 60 grand. And then in about 7 trading days, like a week and a half of the market, I gave away absolutely everything, every dollar. And so I effectively blew up my account and was sitting there thinking, okay, like I need to go on holiday. I need to go reset. I need to go do something here to like fix things, right? I'm either going to lose all my money here, or I need to go back, tail between my legs to my old boss and say, hey, Al, hey, Peter, hey, Steph, like, can you guys hire me back? I'm a fucking idiot. I should have never quit. So I'm sitting there at this resort in Mexico, and I'm day drinking all by myself at a resort, looking like the most depressed person there, the only one who was on holiday by himself, looking like an absolute freaking weirdo. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, like, I haven't given an actual honest effort, right, on getting better as a trader. All I wanted to do was make money. I didn't actually want to work. I just wanted to make money. And here I am sitting, like, hating myself, like the worst amount of self-loathing I have ever experienced in my entire life. I'm a piece of shit. I'm a failure. I'm the biggest dumbass ever. What are my friends going to think? Oh man, like what, how am I supposed to bounce back from this? You know what? It was the market maker's fault. They took my money. Oh man, if I just set my stop loss 10 points lower, I would have been fine. Like every possible excuse I could think of to not take accountability over getting better. And then probably by the 4th or 5th day of just living in my own misery and hating myself and being miserable, yeah, I had that realization, right? Like I actually haven't really tried to actually make any money. I've just tried to look like a trader. I haven't actually tried to be a trader. So for the next 3 days of that vacation, I sat down and I listed everything that Air Rain did for me that I didn't have in my current trading routine. So Air Rain was my previous employer, right? So first thing that I thought about was what were the tasks that I had to do pre-trade, right, and post-trade. Which one of those was I not doing? Well, okay, I don't need to check like the data connections like we used to, and I don't need to like set up all the infrastructure and all that kind of stuff. So that's fine. Nothing really missing there. My prep system was fine. It was in place. Post-trade, right? I would always be forced to have to journal my trades and have a rundown with my portfolio manager at the end of the day or at the end of the trading week, just depending on his schedule. So I wasn't doing that anymore. I certainly didn't have any record besides my like brokerage statement of my wins and losses. I couldn't tell you why I placed any of those trades. I couldn't tell you what the trigger was that made me to ignore my stop loss and to average down. I didn't have any of that information. So I spent all that time, all that money, all that tuition in the market just to sleep through class and to honestly waste my fucking time. And once I realized that, like you thought that I felt pathetic when I was sitting there in my self-loathing when I'm in Mexico drinking. Like you thought that I felt pathetic then you should have seen how I felt when I realized that I wasn't actually being serious about it, right? That I was actually cheating myself of the objectives or the truths or like the life that I wanted. You know how angry I was? You know how stupid I felt? Like I just wasted 6 months of my life and $50,000 to absolutely learn nothing, all because I refused to spend 5 minutes a day studying my trading. Jesus Christ, Michael, like what a fucking loser. It's absolutely pathetic, right? So for then the next, we'll say 18 months, right after that, I decided to get extremely serious. I decided to not give myself any excuses, and I decided to really work on that inner game. It was maybe 2 or 3 weeks after that holiday that I ended up reading a book called Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. For me, it's the most important book that I have ever read in my entire life. That book completely changed my life. Maybe it was just one of those things where it was the right message at the right time, right? For sure. But I'm reading this book and I'm listening, or internal dialogue, right? And I'm hearing how these people were treated like absolute dogs, right? They were treated worse than animals, and they were humiliated beyond any recognition. And yet Victor was like describing people being cheerful, right? And people being happy, or describing how he was able to like separate himself from that body state by looking at it from like a clinical perspective. And what he realized is that you can't control what happens to you. You can only control how you react to that variable, right? So I can't control what the market is going to do. I don't have the ability to do that. All I have is my ability to control my reaction to that and to be accountable to myself over how that makes me feel or how that influences my decisions. If I don't like the outcomes of my actions, then I'm the only one who can fix that, right? I'm the only one who can make that change. And that took me a long time to actually like believe and to embrace, truth be told. But like that was my fork in the road moment, right? I either had the choice to quit and to go back, and I mean, I still would have been probably trading, but I would have been doing trade execution and I would have been doing stuff that I wasn't super excited about, right? Or I could stop feeling sorry for myself, stop this woe is me bullshit, and fix the problems that are actually costing me money. And I made that decision like 6 years ago now, give or take. And like the person I am now versus the person who I was 6 years ago, I'd fucking hate that guy. He was a piece of shit. Like, what a lazy prick. And it disgusts me to a certain extent that I chose to waste so much time pursuing something that I knew deep down wasn't actually making me any better. And the comfort of laziness in that context was like just the biggest trap I have ever experienced in my life. So the obsession isn't to make money, right? Money is a byproduct. The obsession is to get better and to improve and to focus on what I can control. Everything else, guys, like it's meaningless. And like if I make a lot of money, but I'm just like a terrible and shitty person, like Like what's the value of that, right? So I know this has been a day that's probably had a little bit more of a rant and a rave to it than necessary. But I want to really stress, right? But there's work and then there's distractions. And in trading, we have to be very careful to distinguish what the difference is. The work in trading isn't the trading part, right? Even if today felt like that. The work in trading is the holding yourself accountable, in the fixing your mistakes, in getting help, in asking questions, in learning how to like rein in your self-talk. Trading is just self-improvement gamified. Money will not fix your problems, right? It won't. It might seem like it will, but after that, like first 10 to 20 grand, like your short-term money problems are gone. So don't optimize for that, right? Don't get on that roller coaster. Don't attach your self-worth to what your number on a screen is. It's meaningless. It has no correlation to who you are or what you are or who you are, right? Every day it should be, okay, what's one thing I did well? What's one thing I can improve? What's one thing I can focus on for tomorrow? You do that for 90 days and you will not recognize yourself in the mirror. You will be a completely different trader than who you are now. But I warn you, right? If you do that for 15 days or you do that for 25 days, it's going to fucking suck. It's going to feel super uncomfortable. It's going to feel super foreign. It's going to feel as if you're getting your ass kicked, right? Because you're creating new calluses in your mind. You're teaching yourself that mental toughness. You're teaching yourself how to do something that you've not done before. So that unfamiliar feeling, or that feeling as if like I'm not sure if it's going to work, that's actually your indicator that it is working, because you're rewiring your brain and you're rewiring your like reactions to things so that you can actually execute from a consistent and repeatable process. So for me, right, like that's what trading is. Trading is a technical game or a numbers game, right? Like, or that's what it appears on the surface, but it's not that. Like that's the distraction. That's the girl in the red dress, right? That's the mirage in the desert. It the real battle, the real sustainable progress, the real way that you stay playing this game for your life is you make it about getting better, not about making money. You get good enough, the money will be good enough. If you press just to get rich, you're going to live and die with each P&L hit. And I don't know, I've yet to meet anyone. Let's go, JS Woodruff. Let's go. Hey, that's fantastic, dude. It's the third way passing your eval, all because you remained in control. So, like, I cannot stress how fantastic that is, right? Because here's what happens, guys, right? As we start to get better, as we start to improve, as we start to fix our greed or learn how to manage our anxiety or learn how to study our mistakes, then we're going to make one, right? Or we're going to make 10, we're going to make 20, we're going to make 1,000 mistakes still, but we're going to survive it. And then our P&L or our portfolios are going to make new all-time highs after that. And that's how you build confidence, right? You build confidence as a trader by making a mistake, learning from it, surviving the next one, and then overcoming it, right? 5 trades later. And that's where you become confident, because you start to create evidence for yourself that I can actually come back, right? Where most traders at the moment, when they have those psychological issues or they have those pain points where when something goes wrong, everything blows up, all the evidence that they have, right, in their trading account is that a loss leads to losing everything. So the way that you create that confidence, right, is you break that pattern of behavior, or you break that cycle and establish a new one. And everyone has a different number, right, of patterns that they effectively have to break and overcome before they're able to get to that like comfort zone. Again, right, I say we're all in this together by ourselves. What slows Jared down could be different than what slows Ian down, or what slows Mike down, or what slows down JS. And so it's important that we look internally and ask ourselves, right? Why, or what am I missing? Or why am I not making that change? Or why am I not committed to journaling and studying and to getting better? I don't believe that you can just wing it and get profitable. I just don't think it's possible. And maybe you'll make a bit of money, but then you'll just give it all back and then some. So if that's the truth, right? And if you do firmly believe that, like I do, then you have no choice, right? Like, then it's a waste of your time and your energy to not be serious, right? To not be all in, to not want to get better. I think I probably say this at this point like 3 times a week at this point. But I tell absolutely everybody, send me your trades, send me your trades, send me your trades, right? Journal them. Show me what you're doing. Get feedback. Right now, we've got 26 people watching on YouTube and probably about another 26 or 25 people here still watching on Discord, right? So 50 people. Guess how many people sent me their trades for feedback yesterday? Just take a guess. 3. No, lower. Lower. Yeah. So 2% of people. Like, no offense, but when I see those people email me or send me a Discord message, you know what? Like, what my first thought is in my head? Yeah, kids are gonna be all right, right? Like, hey, this person's gonna figure it out. Like that's literally my first thought. This person's gonna figure it out. They're gonna be okay. And do you know what my first thought is when someone tells me that they blow up, but they never ask for help or they never submit their trades for feedback? You know what my first intrusive thought is? It's, I'm not surprised, right? And maybe that sounds harsh, but like the correlation between committing to learning from your trades and actually journaling it versus like just hoping it's going to work. Like it's so obvious, right? Yeah. Like that's the thing, right? And we kind of talked about this a little bit. There's a comfort zone in doing what you've always been doing, even if it doesn't make you more money, right? There's a comfort in that familiarity. And there's like a level of hopium thinking that, hey, this time is going to be different. But it never is, right? Like it never is. Like there eventually we have to understand, right, that our brains are not trying to help us get better, they're trying to help us get safe. And that instinct isn't valid in our life anymore, right? Like I said, none of us are going to the grocery store while dodging saber-toothed tigers, right? We're maybe dodging, someone on fentanyl doing the zombie walk, but they're not a saber-toothed tiger. When they bite, it doesn't hurt. Maybe gross, but it doesn't hurt. They got no teeth, right? So we have to figure out, right, what our objective is, what we actually want out of this game, and to figure out what our personal bottlenecks are. My bottleneck, guys, when I was starting out was my ego. Right? I thought I was good enough. I thought I was smart enough. I thought I was experienced enough. I was a fucking idiot. So, look, I've ranted and raved here probably a little bit too much today. But I don't think that there's anything else in life that I am honestly more passionate about. And yeah, there's a lot of confirmation bias there because I know how much better my life has gotten since I made that decision. Since I like went all in on that. I don't think that there has ever been a more important decision that I have ever made besides that. It is honestly, it was a commitment that I was going to do absolutely whatever I possibly could to fulfill my potential, and that I was refusing to do anything besides that. For me, it's, yeah, I can't stress it any more than I have. But I also can't force you to make that decision for yourself, right? The decision we all have to make. And as like a word of advice, right? Time spent making decisions is usually longer or harder than actually making the decision and going through with it. And guys, like what I want to stress here too, right? Like a lot of this here is me bitching and screaming. But what I want from you all is to take advantage of the program that you signed up for, right? Like you're here because you want to get better as a trader. And I'm here because I want to help you do that. Right? So we all have the same objective. We all have the same goal in mind, right? We're all working towards the same thing here. We're all on the same team. So be selfish, right? participate in the program, journal your trades, get feedback, right? Like, if you don't know where to start with journaling, and I will tell you what you need to fix and improve, or ask you enough questions so that you figure it out for yourself. That's what you guys have signed up for here, right? Yeah, you haven't signed up. I mean, not primarily to watch me trade. You didn't sign up for the prop firm capital. You didn't sign up because I'm Canadian or because I got a friendly dog. You signed up because you want to make money and you want to get better as a trader. And I think that everything that I've created here inside DTR is to help you do that. But it requires you to do it. So I've given you guys what I think is the formula of learning from your trades and studying them and journaling them. And hopefully, right, you can learn through osmosis. And okay, hey, these are what the successful people are doing. Here's what I'm doing. What am I not doing that they are doing? You've got a lot of really profitable traders here in this community. A lot of people who have decided to take that step and to commit to improving their quality of life. So talk to them, right? You don't want to ask me because you're like, oh, Michael, he's in a bad mood. Fuck my bad mood. Who cares? That's a me problem. That's not a you problem. So be selfish, guys, right? Commit to getting better. But don't just say it. Like, actually participate. Actually be deliberate. Actually be honest with yourself over how you're going to fix your problems. To become a profitable trader, it's like it really is about like you just doing enough experiments, right? It's like grade 5 science class. Okay, everyone's got a science project, right? Here's our thesis. Here's our hypothesis. Here's how we're going to test it. Here's the outcome. Literally, like all you got to do. And you probably got to do that for like 5 to 10 pain points in your trading. You got to find them, and then you got to fix and test them. That's it. So, yeah, it sounds scary. It sounds intimidating. It sounds whatever. I promise you, it's a lot better than suffering and not ever improving. I think it's a lot like when we're in a trade, right? The trades that get stuck feel the worst, right? That they're like 2 points above your entry, 2 points below your entry, whatever. And you're like, fuck, I'm not sure if I'm quite right. I don't know if I'm quite wrong. Those are the ones that feel worse. And I think it's the same thing in our careers or in our lives. Being stuck and not improving feels worse than losing money because it just becomes a one-way relationship, right? So how do you unstick yourself? Ooh, that sounds gross. But how do you unstick yourself? Or how do you get unstuck? How do you get out of that quicksand? You get deliberate and you get competitive with yourself and you hold yourself to a higher standard. You know, a really good mental trick here, right? If you don't know where to start, you don't know where to begin. Sit down, blank piece of paper right in front of you, or your phone, your notes app, or whatever, and just sit down and ask yourself, if I was a 10 times better trader than I am now, or even better, if I was a millionaire day trader and I was making $100,000 a month trading, what would I be doing that I'm not currently doing? Write down every single thought you can possibly think of in that scenario. Okay, right? Maybe I'd be journaling. Yeah, I'd be closing as my P&L is increasing. I'd be adding to my winning positions. I'd be closing my trades before they become max losses. Whatever it is, right? Then take that list once you've written it down and rank those things easiest to hardest. And start with the easiest, right? Go from there. I remember, just to go back to my fight or flight moment, right? Sitting in my honestly really shitty basement apartment. And I had just bought a lottery ticket. $70 million or something like that. Spoiler, I did not win. I bought a lottery ticket. Okay, I'm gonna get lucky. I'm gonna get rich. And I didn't win. I checked the numbers and I didn't even get one. And I sat there and I closed Zillow and the mansions that I was daydreaming about and all that kind of stuff. And I asked myself that exact same thing. If I was a millionaire, what would I be doing that I'm not doing now? Or what would be the first thing I would prioritize that isn't a priority right now? I listed those things off, right? So for me, the first thing was getting or being in really awesome shape. The second thing was eating good food. I'd eat really well. I'd be in really good shape. And I'd sleep really well. Those for me were the three things that were like the lowest hanging fruit, right? The other stuff was like, okay, I'd live in this place, or I would do this, or I would do that, or I would do whatever. So I started with those first three things, right? Started to run a lot more. I started to eat less fast food, right? Less snacks, less bullshit. And then I focused on going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time. And all of a sudden, just the confidence of taking those first couple steps, of taking that progression, of doing whatever, then made things 4 through 10 on the list not actually see that intimidating, right? They didn't seem like they were that scary. They didn't seem like they were that that wild. Because I'd already proven to myself that I can do it. So again, guys, I know we've gone way past our normal time here today. But this for me is what I'm extremely passionate about. I'm not passionate about making money. Like making money feels good for about 2 minutes. And then you're like, okay, I need to make more. I am passionate about improving my life and loving myself more, right? That's what I'm passionate about. That's what the market allows me to do. It allows me to gamify that and to make, my life better. And Mr. like Wizzo, right? Like I said this to someone yesterday. Like I don't run the stream and I don't run DTR because I want to make your guys' lives better. And just bear with me because I know that sounds really bad. I don't do this as like a selfless act. I do this because I fundamentally think it helps me improve as a trader. Right? I think that it makes me better. So I learn by teaching. That's a big part of my learning style. So for me, fundamentally running this business is a selfish approach. I only get positives out of it, right? I get better as a trader because I'm forced to be accountable and to effectively do my homework. That's kind of how I viewed it when I started. I have a financial benefit, right, for running DTR. And then I have an emotional benefit of seeing you all get better and improve. And all three of those things are exceptionally important to me, but they are selfish, right? They are things that make me feel good. Me making money from the business doesn't make you guys feel good. Seeing someone else make money maybe feels inspiring, but it doesn't change your life. So I demand from you all, right, that you pursue your improvement as selfishly as possible, because that's what I'm doing too, right? I run this business in the way that I do because I think that it gives me the most possible advantages that I can create for myself, right? Fundamentally, that's the why. I think it makes me a better trader. I think it keeps me more focused, more accountable, and I think it gives me a purpose to be able to see people improve and get better. But that's all my benefit, right? That does nothing for you. The only way that you get a benefit, right, is if you participate, if you play the game with us, and you improve and you get better and you make money and you change the quality of your life. But if you don't, I'm going to still keep getting better, right? I'm going to still keep improving. I'm going to still keep focusing on me. And again, I'm not trying to like tell you guys I don't care about you or anything along those lines. Like, I am extremely invested in all of your success. I have gotten to know so many of you and gotten to speak with so many of you and built relationships with you. Of course, I am your biggest cheerleader. I want you guys to be as successful as you could possibly desire. But as much as I want you guys to be successful, I want to be successful for myself more, right? And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that that's an honest reflection. And it should be the same for you, right? As cool as it is to see me make money, it's better for you to make money. So again, be selfish in your pursuit of getting better. And it doesn't mean, right, that we have conflicting desires or we have conflicting approaches or we have anything. But it's important, right? Every decision I make in the stream, I am doing what I think is best for me and my account, right? Every single decision, I'm thinking what is best for Michael, right? That is the starting point of every trade. Why I do my position sizing the way that I do. That's why I focus on those elements. Now, it doesn't mean that we have a conflict of interest, right? I think we all have the same objective. We're all on the same team. We all want to get better. We all want to improve. But we need to be selfish in that pursuit, team. I'm trying to encourage you all, right, to be selfish. I don't think that it's a negative connotation in this context. Yeah, I would challenge you all, guys. I would challenge you all to commit to that, because it is honestly truly crazy how quickly your life can change when that happens. And I mean, like, getting a little bit emotional here, but yeah, like the person who I was, yeah, 6-7 years ago versus the person who I am now. Like, I don't recognize that version of Michael. It's like that guy has died, right? Like, that version of me died. And I don't think that there's anything I am prouder of besides that. I'm 32. It's all good, right? Like, see, I'm extremely lucky. I fell in love with trading when I was 18 years old, and I have been all in on this for, I would say, 7 years, maybe 6.5 years. I've been all in, and I love it. I am so passionate about it. I owe so much to this game, right? Like, yeah, I can't put into words what trading means to me. I truly love it. It truly saved me. Yeah. Sorry, I might cry in a second. But yeah, guys, like I really believe that we all have the ability to accomplish absolutely everything we want. And yeah, I can't recommend it enough, right? I simply can't recommend it enough. I appreciate you saying that. Oh, this is not where I thought today was going to go. Oh, yeah. I actually got a little bit more emotional there than I expected. Sorry about that, guys. I get very emotional very often. Yeah. Been been a long journey. Yeah. Any other questions here, team? Yeah, of course, Joe. Of course. Look, I I can't always promise you that things will be pretty. I can't always promise you that things will be easy, right? And it would be foolish to suggest that. But look, I will always give you guys everything. I will always be as honest as I possibly can be. I'll always shoot straight from the heart. Because like I said, I do care about you all. I am very invested in your success. I truly get a lot out of seeing you guys improve and get better as traders. I find it incredibly rewarding. And it's something that I look forward to working with all of you on. It is so much fun. And yeah, waking up in the mornings and seeing that message from someone about how their first 10K payout cleared, man, like puts a pep in my step all day. Like I'm bouncing around like I'm my dog, right? So I have a tremendous amount of gratitude to you all. And I respect each and every one of you for the courage to pursue and to go after this journey. It's scary. it's not something that most people would be willing to do. Most people aren't willing to believe in themselves unconditionally. But again, Ryan, like I do it because it makes me better, right? So the primary benefit of that is it forces me to constantly improve and to constantly get better as a trader. The secondary benefit of that, right? Or like the long-term benefit of that, right, is like the dopamine hit of seeing people improve lasts longer than the dopamine hit of a big win. That's kind of what that means to me. I'll say this last thing. Okay. So my first week working at the fund I worked at uh, was an absolute disaster, truth be told. I got the job working there honestly because I made like kind of an inappropriate joke in my interview. Not necessarily because I was like the most technically competent person. And when when I first pulled into the office, like the Monday morning to do like my orientation, there's a guy who ended up becoming actually a really good friend of mine. His name was Aaron, and I'm like sitting down, getting my email set up, all this kind of stuff, and probably the second or the third thing he told me was like, I told them not to hire you. He's like, I told them that you weren't going to be good enough. I told them not to hire you. And I remember like the sinking feeling I had of that for about like 30 or 45 minutes. And then I realized like they didn't listen to this guy. Like they must not respect him. They must not care about his opinion if they didn't listen to him. And then all of a sudden, like I was able to kind of like make fun of him for that, right? I was like, well, like why did they put me to train with you? Like they clearly don't respect you. They must think you're a fucking idiot. Like like that kind of mindset. And honestly, like once I thought back against that like negative self doubt, right? Or once I thought back, instead of thinking, oh, like I actually am not good enough, I'm lucky I'm going to get fired tomorrow. Like biting back and telling him to kind of fuck off also told me that like I don't need to believe every thought I have. Most thoughts I have about myself are probably false. And yeah, like just giving him a little bit of stick after that, like I became one of the guys on the desk so much faster. So it's kind of like one of those things, right? If someone makes fun of you, um, uh, I'm a Polish, come from a Polish family. I've got like the world's biggest schnoz, and if every time someone told me I have a big nose, like oh my god, fuck me, I'm screwed. It would make me feel super self conscious. But if you just say like, ah, yeah, so what? Like, yeah, I've got a big one. What now? Like they stop making fun of you for having a big nose, right? It's kind of the same thing with trading. If it's like you keep telling yourself, okay, I'm an undisciplined trader, I'm never going to make any money. Yeah, you're going to speak that into existence. But if you tell yourself, okay, I need to fix being an undisciplined trader, then all of a sudden, like the market stops making fun of you. Oh, yeah. Or for lack of a better term, you maybe have to, yeah, to give yourself like a delusional level of confidence to do the work that will actually make you confident as a trader. That's really what the cheat code is. All right, team. Enough. I'm tired. Yeah, a little bit emotionally spent after today's trading session. I think that was an important one for us to talk about here today. And again, a reminder, right? Be selfish in your pursuit of getting better, because everything I do in a trading basis is not so that Ian makes money or Jared makes money. It's so that I make money. And I want you guys to be pursuing it in the same level of intensity, right? Do what is best for you and your account at all times and ignore all the other noise. Embrace that as much as you possibly can. Live that mindset, and things will go from there. And yeah, right, Tony, I think you said it really well, right? A dream written down with a date becomes a goal broken down into steps becomes a plan backed by action makes your dreams come true. I think that's absolutely spot on. Basically, the reality here is, like, everyone says they want to be a profitable trader, right? Everyone says they want to make money. Now you got to make your actions match your words. And that's the battle we have to have with ourselves. And we have to do the stuff that we think, or like the stuff that we know we need to do, but we're not willing to do it because of some mental block. And we got to just get over ourselves here. All right, guys. So same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours. I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. But have yourselves, team, a fantastic rest of the day. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.